Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 5월 7일 목요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. From 8 to 10 a.m. every morning, upgrade your English with Morning Special through global headlines, book reviews, music, movies, and more. 매일 아침 8시부터 10시 2시간 동안 스페셜한 아침을 여는 Morning Special입니다. And back to the grind this morning is the one and only Steve Hatherley. Good morning.
I found a new ice cream flavor last night.
What is it?
So worried.
It's good, huh?
Vanilla caramel brownie.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And I just started, cycling for 1 hour and I saw the ice cream in the corner store and I said to myself, well, back to square one.
That's 3 delicious
All
recipes all in one.
All in one little tiny
goodness.
container.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's really, really good. I'm great. Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Good to see you this morning. Hope our listeners are off to a nice start today. It's a beautiful morning outside, at least
Yep.
here in this part of the country.
Yes, the skies are a lot clearer today than yesterday, at least.
Yeah, it's going to be another warm one. And today would be a day of preparation for the children to get ready for Parents' Day tomorrow.
That's right. And in Korea for Parents' Day, which is, as you said, tomorrow, a lot of children will be making carnations or buying carnations. That's the thing, to give your parents flowers.
I have seen the flowers for sale outside
Yeah.
the corner stores,
They're
right?
pretty, aren't they? And they come in all different
Really
colours,
are.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would to say a good morning to everyone out there this morning. 김혜선님, good morning to you. Morning Special listener들 모두 행복한 가정의 달 되세요 하셨습니다. Yes, a happy family month to you too, 김혜선님.
What's coming up after? So tomorrow is Parents' Day.
Yeah.
What's next after that? Teachers' Day?
Yes, Teachers' Day is next Friday.
I see. So
And Paul, our writer, just actually told me there's Couples' Day as well. I think that's a little less formal, Couples' Day, which is coming up too. But yeah.
that's Married Couples Day. Is that Married Couples Day or
Yeah,
any?
부부의 날. So
okay.
Married Couples Day, yeah.
Married Couples Day.
Indeed. But yeah, the next big one is Teachers' Day, which is a week
see.
away from Parents' Day.
And then that continues as well. Let's see. It's not only that, there's more through the month of May. So there's lots of reasons to celebrate in this month.
Yeah, absolutely. And what better time of the year to express your love
I
and say
agree.
thank you.
When the weather gets warm and the flowers are blooming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I told you I planted some flowers in my garden.
Oh,
right? I
yeah.
showed you the picture.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, they're growing really nicely.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's my new hobby. I'm really obsessed. I need a place to buy some seeds.
There are some great markets where you can buy those seeds. I'll tell you after,
Oh, please
after
do.
the show today.
And I finally got my avocado tree going.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
That's going to take forever, though. You know that, right?
I need a few years
Yeah.
for that one. That's true.
Well, apparently it's Rose Day on the 14th of this
Right.
month, so maybe we could put a little rose on the table on the show that day. I don't know, lots of special days this month. Lots to look forward to.
Exactly.
All right. Well, please do send in your messages. 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 반디 게시판 무료로 이용할 수 있고요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시면 되겠습니다. Okay, now with that said, let's start with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
The UK has surpassed Italy in the number of COVID-19 fatalities, marking the first time in the pandemic that it has led Europe's death toll.
영국의 코로나19 누적 사망자 수가 이탈리아를 넘어서며 유럽 최대 피해 국가가 됐습니다.
Amid an ongoing COVID-19 blame game between the U.S. and China, the two superpowers have escalated tensions by engaging in military maneuvers in the South China Sea.
미국과 중국 간 코로나19 책임론 공방이 치열한 가운데 중국이 남중국해에서 연달아 훈련을 개시해 양국의 신경전이 고조되고 있습니다.
Authorities in Brazil's Sao Paulo state have strengthened measures against the COVID-19 pandemic by making face masks mandatory and imposing fines of up to 270,000 reals, or about 60 million won.
브라질 상파울루 주 당국이 마스크 착용을 의무화하고 이를 어기면 최대 27만 6천 헤알, 한국 돈으로 약 6천만 원의 벌금을 부과하는 초강수를 뒀습니다.
China has successfully test-launched its Long March 5B rocket, which was developed to facilitate the construction of a new space station.
중국이 유인 우주 정류장 등에 활용하기 위해 개발한 창정 5B 운반 로켓 시험 발사에 성공했습니다. And you can check those headlines again free of charge by visiting our EBS Morning Special website. 네, 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지에 들어오시면은요, 지금 스티브 선생님과 제가 읽어드린 헤드라인을 무료로 다시 복습하실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the story, Steve.
Headline number one today. The UK has surpassed Italy in the number of COVID-19 fatalities, marking the first time in the pandemic that it has led Europe's death toll.
네, 영국의 코로나19 누적 사망자 수가 이탈리아를 넘어서며 유럽 최대 피해 국가가 됐습니다.
Yes, the UK now has the highest death toll, official death toll, as a result of the coronavirus in Europe. New figures now show, with more than 30,000 cases in the UK, 30,076 to be exact. The addition of deaths in Scotland and Northern Ireland added to that toll, and those numbers are updated as of 8 a.m. this morning. The UK now has the highest death toll in the region. Spain still has the highest number of cases for Europe. They have 253,682, while the UK has just over 200,000 at 201,101. But the UK now outnumbers Spain in terms of deaths. The US, though, is still number one in the world in terms of both cases and deaths.
네, 월더미터 사이트에 나와 있는 통계에 따르면은요, 조금 전 8시를 기준으로 전 세계의 코로나19 사망자가 26만 4천 명이 넘어선 가운데 미국이 이제 사망자가 그 중에서 7만 4,100여 명으로 가장 많습니다. 근데 유럽 내에서는요, 영국이 가장 많은 사망자 수를 기록하고 있습니다. 3만, 현재로서는 76명이 사망했다고 합니다. However, officials are saying it's very hard to compare the countries because the way they're being measured, the number of people that are being measured are all different.
Sure. Internationally speaking, experts have said that it is difficult to compare because of the differences in demographics and because like you said, each way has their own way of measuring the number of deaths. The UK, for example, only recently started adding deaths in the community, such as nursing homes, to its official statistics because previously it had only included those who died in hospital.
I see. 이렇게 해서 영국이요, 유럽에서 최대 피해국이 됐다라는 표현. The UK has become the worst hit country in Europe라고 하고 있습니다.
And they have faced extreme criticism from opposition parties, the UK government, that is, in recent weeks, with some lawmakers suggesting that Prime Minister Boris Johnson was too slow to respond to the pandemic when it first emerged. Johnson, if we remember, was initially reluctant to impose national lockdown measures at a time when hospitals in Italy were already being overrun. The government has also come under fire for failing to provide enough protective equipment to hospitals and also being late to roll out mass testing. Johnson has said that the UK's new strategy, it's going to be unveiled a little bit later. He said that the UK has passed the peak of the pandemic and now we, meaning people in the UK, are on a downward slope.
네, we passed the peak라는 것은 정점을 지났다. 영국의 총리는 이렇게 보고 있습니다. 그리고 on a downward slope라는 것은 이제 곡선이 하향세를 보이고 있다라고 하면서 희망적이지만 아직은 봉쇄령을 해제하기에는 이르다 이렇게 보고 있고요. 또 영국의 많은 전문가들뿐만 아니라 이제 전 세계적으로도 사실 이렇게 일률적으로 확진자와 사망자를 비교하는 것이 어렵다는 지적도 나오고 있습니다. 특히나 이런 국제적인 비교는 뭐 영국의 외무장관의 말을 빌리자면은 고려할 가치가 없다고 했는데요. 현재 월더미터 사이트에 따르면은 유럽 내에서 확진자 수는 스페인이 가장 높고요. 사망자 수는 영국이 가장 높습니다. 그리고 전 세계적으로는 확진자와 사망자가 가장 많이 나온 나라는 역시 미국입니다.
So eventually, we know that the UK government will lift the lockdown restrictions. But before that happens, they said that a few things are necessary. 5 things, as a matter of fact. Number 1, the National Health Service must be able to cope. Number 2, that there would be a consistent fall in daily deaths. Number 3, a slowdown in the rate of infection to quote unquote manageable levels. Number 4, sufficient testing and personal protective equipment is in hand, and meaning that they have enough of it. And number 5, finally, confidence that any adjustments would not risk a second peak.
네, 그렇습니다. 봉쇄령을 해지하기 전까지는 5가지의 요건을 충족해야 된다는 얘기도 영국 정부 측에서 나오고 있습니다. Let's check our second headline.
Headline number 2 this morning. Amid an ongoing COVID-19 blame game between the U.S. and China, the two superpowers have escalated tensions by engaging in military maneuvers in the South China Sea.
네, 미국과 중국 간 코로나19 책임론 공방이 치열한 가운데 중국이 남중국해에서 연달아 훈련을 개시해 양국의 신경전이 고조되고 있습니다.
The United States and China are engaged in military maneuvers in the South China Sea, a marginal sea of the Pacific Ocean that encompasses an area of around 3.5 million square kilometers. It is one of the world's busiest waterways, and it is subjected to several overlapping territorial disputes involving China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Brunei. We talked last week about that song that China did for the Philippines called One Sea that became very controversial. But the dispute has now emerged as a flashpoint in China-U.S. relations in Asia.
The reason for that, of course, is because the U.S. moves Navy ships through this region.
Yeah, and this is what happened, pardon me, here in the latest incident. So a Chinese Navy fleet organized an escort mission drill through the area called the Spratly Islands chain. That is a disputed area. The mission was conducted by the 35th Escort Fleet of the Chinese Navy to, quote, boost Farsi training for combat ships and boost protection against piracy for Chinese merchant ships. That was a quote reported from the English language daily South China Morning Post out of Hong Kong.
Right.
But challenging Beijing's maritime claims is what is termed as, quote, freedom of navigation operations. And what happened there was U.S. bombers flew in the East China Sea on Monday. That was reported by Taiwan News, which is an English language newspaper out of Taiwan.
Now, normally, you have to submit plans to go into these disputed areas, and China obviously has not done that. Also, by conducting these drills, I guess it's trying to show the US that it could, if the need be, strike, and that is a point of dispute.
And I guess the United States, by responding, is saying, don't forget, we are here too. Those bombers that I mentioned, B-1B supersonic bombers, they flew from Guam to the East China Sea, and they approached Taiwan's northeastern maritime border along the way. And that flight by those U.S. bombers comes just a few days after the Chinese military said that it opposes foreign powers bolstering their naval presence in the South China Sea. It's a back and forth game, it seems.
Yeah, it absolutely does. 그렇지 않아도 코로나19의 그 바이러스 기원을 놓고 공방이 계속 치열합니다. 중국과 미국이요. 그런 가운데 이제 중국이 남중국해에서 훈련을 개시했기 때문에 어떤 그 영유권 분쟁 해역에서의 중국의 움직임이 이 지역에 갈등을 고조할 것이다라는 전망이 나오고 있네요. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3 this morning. Authorities in Brazil's Sao Paulo state have strengthened measures against the COVID-19 pandemic by making face masks mandatory and imposing fines of up to 270,000 reals or about 60 million won.
네, 브라질 상파울로 주 당국이 마스크 착용을 의무화하고 이를 어기면 최대 27만 6천 회알, 한국 돈으로 약 6천만 원의 벌금을 부과하는 초강수를 뒀습니다.
Could get very expensive, couldn't it?
Yeah.
The Sao Paulo government said in a decree issued in the name of Governor Juan Doria on the 5th of the month that it will make it mandatory for all regions to wear masks starting on the 7th, that would be today, and that it will impose fines ranging from about, by Korean money, 61,000 won, roughly 61,000 won, up to 61 million won. Again, that's why I said it could get very, very expensive. The state government will also punish with detention for up to 1 year if transgressors or people who break that rule do not intentionally wear masks or pay their respective fines.
네, 그렇습니다. 브라질에서도 이제 코로나 확진자가 계속해서 늘고 있는 모습인데요. 그 중에서도 피해가 가장 큰 상파울루 주는요, 이제 인구 4,500만 명의 주입니다. 거기서 이제 어제 상파울루 주의 정부가 포고령을 발표했고요. 현지 시간 7일부터는 전 지역에서 마스크를 착용해야 된다. 어길 시에는 이 사안의 경중에 따라서 적게는 6만 원, 많게는 6천만 원의 벌금을 부과한다. 이렇게 발표를 했고요. 만약에 적발됐는데도 벌금을 내지 않는다. 그러면은 1년까지 구금이 될 수도 있다고 합니다.
So those without masks were banned from using public transportation. So if you weren't wearing a mask, you could not get on a bus or a subway or a taxi. You couldn't even take a taxi if you weren't wearing a mask. The state government official explained that wearing a mask is an inevitable step to curb the spread of COVID-19 at a time when the participation rate in social isolation is below expectations. They would like to see people abide by that rule a little bit better. The state government calculates the social isolation participation rate by tracking mobile phones in about 100 cities and with more than 70,000 different residents. And they set the goal of having at least 70% of people participating in social isolation while setting 50% as the lowest limit.
Right. Sao Paulo is currently the hardest hit region in Brazil, and the population of Sao Paulo is a little under the entire population of Korea. So we're looking at a very highly populated district here. Let's check our final headline.
Final headline this morning. China has successfully test launched its Long March 5B rocket, which was developed to facilitate the construction of a new space station.
네, 중국이 유인 우주 정류장 등에 활용하기 위해 개발한 창정 5B 운반 로켓 시험 발사에 성공했습니다.
The Long March 5B rocket is a cornerstone of China's space exploration plans. The same vehicle will carry the country's Mars mission dubbed Tianwen that is scheduled to launch this summer. Also, the heavy lift rocket is necessary for launching modules of the new space station that China plans to build. And also, there's the crew capsule. This flight, though, was an uncrewed test mission for that vehicle, so there were no astronauts on board. China is particularly eager for data on the performance of its heat shields. They also want to test the performance of its parachutes, among other aspects of the yet-to-be-named capsule. This is all according to Space News. And that capsule, by the way, should be able to carry about 6 or 7 astronauts at a time. This is according to a statement from China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation.
네, 그렇습니다. 앞서서 중국이 지난 3월에는 창정 7A, 그다음에 4월에는 창정 3B 로켓 발사에 실패한 바가 있습니다. 네, 이번에는 성공을 했어요. 창정 5B 운반 로켓인데요. cornerstone이라고 하면 이제 초석이라고 해석을 할 수 있습니다. 그렇게 보고 있다라는 얘기죠.
Did you hear, by the way, speaking of space stations,
Yeah?
did you hear Tom Cruise and NASA?
Yes, we're
They're
going to
gonna
be talking about that actually.
Going to film a movie?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 아, 그렇습니다. 중국에서는 이제 2022년 완공을 목표로 ISS 우주 정류장에 이 창정 5B 유인 우주선을 보낼 예정이고요. 궁극적으로는 달까지 우주인을 보내는 게 목표라고 합니다. Those were our headlines this morning. You know what? Today is Parents' Day Eve, so we have a special question for our listeners. What gift have you prepared for your parents? Let us know. Maybe you could share ideas for those who haven't yet bought a gift.
Only answer that question if your parents are not listening to the show.
Right, that's true as well.
Or text it a different name.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you're a parent, especially with young children, tell us about the first time you received a Parents' Day card or a paper carnation.
Yeah,
and
right.
share those moments with us.
Yeah, if you're parents, you could tell us what you would like to receive as well, right? Typically, we
That could
ask
be a long list.
children for Children's Day, what would you like to get from your parents? But now we can ask the parents, what would you like to get from your kids?
I have an answer to that. I'll tell you after the song break.
Okie doke.
스티븐 비숍가 부릅니다. It Might Be You 듣고 와서 여러분의 사연과 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요.
Time, I've been passing time, watching trains go by. All of my life, lying on the sand, watching seabirds fly. Wishing there would be someone waiting home for me. Something's telling me it might be you. It's telling me it might be you. All of my life, looking back as lovers go walking past. All of my life, wondering how they met and what makes it last. If I found the place, would I recognize the face? Something's telling me it might be you. Yeah, it's telling me it might be you. So many quiet walks to take, so many dreams to wake, and we've so much love to make. I think we're gonna need some time. Maybe all we need is time. And it's telling me it might be you. All of my life. I've been saving love songs and lullabies, and there's so much more no one's ever heard before. Something's telling me it might be you. Yeah, it's telling me it must be you. And I'm feeling it'll just be you. All of my life. It's you. It's you. I've been waiting for all of my
Stephen Bishop, it might be you 듣고 왔습니다. You're listening to Morning Special on EBS FM.
I have more bad news.
Oh no, what is it?
Well, I found the new ice cream flavor yesterday.
Yeah, a new guilty pleasure.
And I just looked at Facebook during that song break. Someone's selling an ice cream maker.
Oh no, you're going to get that, aren't you,
I
Steve?
totally am buying. Of course I am. I have to buy an ice cream
You have
maker.
to, yeah.
How do you say no to that,
Exactly, yes. 아이고, 큰일 났네요. 집에서 아이스크림 만들고
right?
생겼어요.
I am going to be 150 kilograms. I need all the chairs in this studio by the time summer comes.
네, 뭐 같이 먹죠, 뭐. All right, let's check your messages. 최란희 님이요. 저는요, 홍삼이요. 양가에 홍삼 보내드렸습니다. 코로나로 인해 내려가지는 못했어요. I've sent both of my parents and my in-laws 홍삼, which is a type of ginseng. And I wasn't able to go, but I sent it via delivery.
Do you know what my first thought was?
What?
Ooh, I can make hongsam ice cream in my new ice cream maker.
Oh, everything related to ice cream now. Yeah.
Right?
Red ginseng. That's going to be, because normally red ginseng is considered very healthy. Ice cream, not so much.
Yeah,
but what
but
happens if you put the two together?
They balance each other out.
Exactly. 서영진님은요, 이번 어버이날에는 편한 운동화와 카네이션 그리고 머니를 선물하려고 합니다. 어머니 아버지 사랑해요 하셨습니다. This Parents' Day, I'm going to gift my parents some comfortable trainers, carnations, and money.
Trainers, you mean?
Sneakers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, though.
Yeah.
Because that's one little difference between British English and North American English. In British English, for was what we call
운동화.
sneakers.
Yeah.
In England, they're called trainers.
Exactly. 너무 좋은 생각이네요. 그리고 이경옥님, Good morning, 수진쌤, 스티브쌤, 모스 가족들. 7살 동혁이가 같이 듣고 있는 목요일 아침입니다. 모두 행복하고 건강한 하루 되세요 하셨어요. My son, 7-year-old son 동혁 is tuning into the show with me this morning. Happy Thursday, says our listening.
Happy Thursday.
네. 정성엽님은요, 두 분 모두 스티브쌤 정원의 아보카도 열릴 때까지, 아니 그 후까지 모닝 스페셜에 계세요. So this is a message to the both of us. Please don't leave the show until your avocado sprouts. No, even after your avocado sprouts, please stay on and host the show.
Until the tree grows.
Exactly.
Can we plant that in this studio?
Yeah,
anyway?
we should do that. I heard it takes years.
Right.
So thank you for that, 정성엽님. 최란희님은요, 아이스크림 기계 안 돼요. 홍삼 아이스크림 하하하하 하셨습니다.
I know. It's over. I need more bicycles.
Well, keep sending in your messages and suggestions and greetings. Oh, I actually have a question about Parents' Day, but I'll ask you tomorrow because tomorrow is the actual day. But you have Mother's Day in America, don't you? I don't think you have Father's Day. So maybe you could talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. 내일 어버이날에 그 서양의 어버이날 문화에 대한 얘기도 한번 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. But in the meantime, keep sending in your messages and we'll check our news focus stories now. 첫 번째 news focus 살펴보겠습니다. 유엔 아동기금 유니세프가 발간한 보고서에 따르면 전 세계 가구 소득 하위 20% 가정에 사는 여성 아동과 청소년의 30%가 학교에 다닌 적이 한 번도 없는 것으로 나타났습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Nearly 1 in 3 adolescent girls from the poorest households around the world has never been to school, according to a new UNICEF paper. Poverty, disability, and physical distance from schools are among the obstacles that continue to prevent the poorest children from accessing quality education. Exclusion at every step of education perpetuates poverty and is a key driver of a global learning crisis. Limited funding results in large class sizes, poorly trained teachers, lack of education materials, and poor school infrastructure. This has an adverse impact on attendance, enrollment, and learning.
네, 그렇습니다. 유니세프는요, 교육에서 소외되는 아이에게는 가난이 세습되기 쉽다라고 하면서 가난한 가정의 아이들이 이렇게 교육으로부터 소외되지 않도록 모든 나라의 정부가 지금보다 훨씬 더 교육 재정을 늘려야 할 것이고 이제 배정을 또 어떻게 하느냐에 좀 더 관심을 기울여야 될 것이다라고 권고했습니다.
Yeah, when we hear stories like this, and when I think back to when I was a kid, and every kid that I knew, and I'm sure our listeners too would understand, every kid says, I don't want to go to school. But when you hear a story like this, you know, if you take away your ability to go to school, then I think every child would say, yes, please.
Yeah.
I would like the education, please. Because there are so many people who don't have access to it, and it's
Yeah.
not fair.
Absolutely. In fact, as it says in the article, 1 in 3 girls in the lower 20% bracket of the world have never been to school before.
Yeah, that's right. And there are reasons for it. There are many reasons for it. A few of those: poverty, disability, the physical distance from school. So the school is too far away.
Yeah.
From where you are living. Those are all obstacles that continue to prevent these children from accessing quality education or education at all. And this exclusion in the education process is what perpetuates poverty. So if one thing perpetuates another, it allows that negative thing to continue. Here, in the context of the article, well, if we say poverty and disability and the schools are too far away, that means that these children cannot get an education. And if these children cannot get an education and then they grow up, then that means that they cannot get a job. And if they cannot get a job, then that allows that poverty to continue,
Yeah.
right? It's a vicious cycle. No school leads to more poverty. No school perpetuates poverty.
네, 그렇습니다. 여기서 perpetuate라는 것은 지속해서 어떻게 영구화하다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그러니까 이렇게 교육을 받지 못하는 것은 단순히 학교에 가지 못하는 문제만이 아니라 가난을 말 그대로 이제 대대로 이어지게끔 하는 어떤 악효과를 가져 올 수 있다. 뭐 어떤 그 악순환이 될 수도 있다라는 뜻이 될 수 있고요. 아니면 뭐 다르게 해석을 하자면은 가난을 세습하는 그런 모습으로 결국은 이 교육을 받지 못하는 것과 가난과 밀접한 연관성이 있다라는 의미로 보시면 될 것 같습니다. 영구화하다라는 perpetuate가 쓰였고요.
So these, because there's not much money, therefore there are larger class sizes. The teachers don't get the training that they need.
Yeah.
The teachers don't have the education materials that they need. The schools, the infrastructure, the buildings are in poor condition. And this has an adverse impact. All of those things have an adverse impact on attendance and enrollment and just learning in general. So if one thing has an adverse impact on another thing, it means it's negative and it means it's preventing its success. So I'll give you an easy sentence example. Smoking has a negative effect on what?
Your health.
Your health. Yeah. So therefore, you could say smoking has an adverse impact on your health.
네, 부정적인 영향이라는 뜻입니다. 정부에서 이게 교육에 할당하는 어떤 재정 액수가 만약에 뭐 부족하다라고 하면은 거기로부터 시작되는 이제 악순환이라고 볼 수도 있겠죠. 학교의 시설도 뭐 충분하지 않을 수 있고 교사가 충분한 훈련을 받지 못할 수도 있고요. 여러 가지 인프라가 부족하다 보면은 또 굳이 이런 곳에서 교육을 받을 필요가 있느냐라는 생각으로 또 학교에 안 갈 수도 있고 여러 가지 뭐 이유가 있을 수 있습니다만 이런 악순환, vicious cycle을 만들어내는 adverse impact, 부정적인 영향을 미친다 이런 뜻이 되겠습니다. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Nearly 1 in 3 adolescent girls from the poorest households around the world has never been to school, according to a new UNICEF paper. Poverty, disability, and physical distance from schools are among the obstacles that continue to prevent the poorest children from accessing quality education. Exclusion at every step of education perpetuates poverty and is a key driver of a global learning crisis. Limited funding results in large class sizes, poorly trained teachers, lack of education materials, and poor school infrastructure. This has an adverse impact on attendance, enrollment, and learning.
자, 두 번째 뉴스 포커스입니다. 글로벌 숙박 공유 플랫폼이죠. 에어비앤비가 코로나19의 여파로 전 세계 여행업계가 타격을 받으면서 소속 직원의 25%인 1,900명을 감원한다고 발표했습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Airbnb, a well-known private company that connects travelers with places to stay, announced that it was laying off around a quarter of its workforce. The company did not break down per-country totals for the layoffs, but they did say that 1,900 employees will be laid off, or 25.3% of its 7,500 workers. In an effort to keep both the demand and supply sides of its marketplace healthy enough to survive hibernation, Airbnb has allowed users to cancel some reservations without penalty and provided financial support to its hosts.
They say about 7 million home sharing facilities are listed under Airbnb, but maybe not any longer.
Have you used the service before?
No, I haven't, but a lot of my friends have. Have you?
Oh, many times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I find it to be hit and miss, but overall, I've had a good experience using Airbnb. What I found is that it's a different feel. When you're visiting a city or a new location and you use Airbnb versus a hotel,
Yeah.
you feel like you are a member of that community. When you stay at a hotel, of course, it's lovely, but you feel like a tourist.
Yeah.
But when you use Airbnb, you feel like you live there for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, with COVID-19 and people not traveling, people not flying, that means people are not using hotels and they're not using Airbnb. And this was a really controversial issue for a while because of the cancellation policy.
Yeah.
Because if you list your space, your apartment on Airbnb, you can set your own cancellation policy. 3 days before, if you cancel, you get a certain percentage
Exactly.
back. But Airbnb said, no, because of what's happening, we're allowing last-minute cancellations. And that really upset a lot of the hosts. And Airbnb, they wanted to keep the travelers and the hosts happy, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
And that's why they were subsidizing their hosts as well.
그렇습니다. 취소 위약금 없이 코로나로 인해서 마지막 순간까지도 그냥 취소를 할 수 있다라고 에어비앤비가 앞서 발표를 한 바가 있었죠. 물론 여행을 하는 사람의 입장에서는 좋을 수 있습니다. 그러니까 여행 예약을 했었다가 이제 갑자기 취소를 해야 되는 수많은 전 세계의 여행자들에게는 위약금 없이 취소를 할 수 있으니까 좋았겠지만 이 집을 리스팅했던 호스트들의 입장에서는 손해를 보는 게 되니까요. 또 불만이 많이 있었다라는 얘기까지 덧붙여 주셨고요. 어찌됐건 이제 전 직원의 25% 1,900명을 감원하겠다, lay off 하겠다고 했어요.
That's right. It's really sad. And it's a really big number for one company to lay off over 25% of its employees.
Yeah.
But that is what happened with Airbnb. Now, to lay off employees means that you are letting them go. They do not work for you anymore. But there's a difference between layoff and fire.
Okay.
So I'll use a person as an example. If you are laid off, it means that you lost your job. But it doesn't mean that you lost your job because of poor performance on your behalf.
Right.
I mean, and what I mean is you lose your job through no fault of your own. Remember that expression we learned.
Yep.
You didn't do anything wrong, but still you lost your job. And in that case, It's because you were laid off.
네, lay off라고 하면은 큰 의미에서는 해고하다라는 뜻이 될 수 있지만 fire와의 뉘앙스 차이는요. fire는 본인의 과실로 인해서 잘못한 게 있기 때문에 해고를 당하는 것이라면 lay off는 본인의 잘못과는 무관하게 이 경우에는 이제 회사가 재정적으로 허덕이고 있어서 감원을 할 수밖에 없는 그런 상황이죠. 그럴 때 쓰는 해고가 layoff가 되겠습니다.
And the reason they made these layoffs is because the market is not there. And they're trying to survive this period of hibernation. So think about a bear. When a bear hibernates, it's a period of inactivity. The bear doesn't do anything.
Right.
Literally nothing. So when business is down and there's no business activity, then you could refer to that as a period of hibernation as well. It's like a bear. There's no business activity, and that's what we're talking about here.
그렇습니다. hibernation은 동면을 뜻해요. 그래서 어떤 이제 기업의 지금 영업이 중단된 상태를 동면에 비유를 한 것이라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. 또 부가 설명을 좀 더 드리자면은 에어비앤비의 CEO는요, 이번에 해고된 직원들에게 최소 2주간의 기본급에 해당되는 금액을 지불한다고 발표를 했고요. 또 미국에서는 퇴직 후에도 1년 동안은 건강보험금 지급 혜택을 받을 수 있다고 합니다. 미국 외의 다른 나라 직원들은 올해 연말까지 그런 보험 혜택이 지속된다고는 합니다. Okay, let's listen to the story one more time.
Airbnb, a well-known private company that connects travelers with places to stay, announced that it was laying off around a quarter of its workforce. The company did not break down per-country totals for the layoffs, but they did say that 1,900 employees will be laid off, or 25.3% of its 7,500 workers. In an effort to keep both the demand and supply sides of its marketplace healthy enough to survive hibernation, Airbnb has allowed users to cancel some reservations without penalty and provided financial support to its hosts.
Let's take a song break, and when we come back, we'll be talking baseball. 노래 듣고 오겠습니다. Johnny Stimson의 Flower 듣고 올게요.
Yeah. Hey. You can open up to me, show me what's inside. Mother Nature made us to intertwine. Lavender elixir so full of pheromones. Give me one taste and you're gone. What if I can't get you out of my thoughts? What if my seasons don't change? What if you forget to forget me not and we fade away? You're my little flower, blooming in the night, only for an hour. The northern lights, my Casablanca sweetheart, nectar so divine. Baby, you're the best part of my life. What can I do? What can I say to convince you to stay? All I see are tulips and I'm a hummingbird. Heavenly ambrosia in every curve. Honey dripping over my imagination. The fragrance keeps flowing straight down to my soul. What if I can't get you out of my thoughts? What if my seasons don't change? What if you love me, then you love me not, and we fade away? You're my little flower, blooming in the night, only for an hour. The northern lights, my Casablanca sweetheart, nectar so divine. Baby, you're the best part of my life. What can I do? What can I say to convince you to stay? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh.
And we're back. It's time now to take a look at our next news focus story. 자, 세 번째 마지막 뉴스 포커스입니다. 코로나19 위기를 극복하고 지난 5일 열린 프로야구 KBO 리그의 개막전 모습을 세계 주요 외신들이 상세하게 보도했는데요. KBO 리그는 미국 전역에 생중계되는 등 세계 야구 팬의 폭발적인 관심을 받고 있습니다. Let's listen to the story.
Journalists from nearly 20 international media outlets flocked to baseball stadiums across Korea on Tuesday, trying to get a glimpse of the Korea Baseball Organization's launching its 2020 season. The U.S. sports cable giant ESPN has struck a deal to televise 6 KBO games per week this season and will also carry playoff games in the fall. Major League Baseball hasn't been able to start its season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The KBO also has a deal with a Japanese site which will carry 2 Korean games per day and will then gradually increase that number. Japan's top league also remains grounded.
Baseball fans were excited. I saw a lot of posts on social media yesterday.
It was really, I saw one funny post. Yes, the baseball games from Korea are now broadcast in America on ESPN.
Yeah.
And ESPN, if you're not familiar, it's the biggest sports channel in the United States. It's really, really, really popular. The games I heard, they are broadcast kind of at odd hours.
Yeah, there must be.
In the middle of the night,
Right,
right?
right.
But I don't think people care. People in America are so starved for sports right now. The world is so starved for sports that people are going to love it. And one post that I saw already, it was a thread.
Yeah.
And someone took a screenshot of that thread. You know the team, the NC Dinos?
No.
Okay, well, they're one of the baseball teams here.
Okay.
NC, of course, does not stand for anything American, right? But because it was broadcast in America, someone thought the NC in NC Dinos stood for North Carolina. So one team was saying, yeah, man, I love the North Carolina Dinos. They're awesome, which I thought was really, really
They're
funny.
South Koreans.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So lots of people who are, as you said, starved for any kind of sporting event, they got a glimpse of KBO.
Yeah, journalists from so many different 20 international media outlets, they were at the stadiums across the country on Tuesday to try to get a glimpse of the KBO launching its 2020 season. So, to get a glimpse of something means to see a little bit of something. I'll give you an easy example. Sometimes in the past when I was in Myeongdong, I would see a large group of people crowded around a shop entrance. And I think it was because there was a celebrity
Yeah.
shopping in there.
Happens quite a lot, yeah.
Right? And so I think they were students. The students were trying to get a glimpse, or you can also say catch a glimpse of the celebrity shopping inside. And what that means again is just to see just a little bit of.
맞아요. 살짝 보다라는 뜻의 힐끗 보다, get a glimpse of 뭐뭐뭐가 되겠습니다. Yesterday, after EBS, I went to another gig that I had, and that was another broadcasting station. And on my way out of the parking lot, I saw these girls all cheering for me, and I thought, how very nice.
Cheering for you.
Well, I thought they were cheering for me because they were clapping and they were just popping their heads up and down, trying to. And I thought, wow, why?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but I thought
Huge
that's very nice,
fans of-
very nice, yeah.
Huge fans of Morning
And then
Special.
I realized the car right behind me
Yeah.
was full of celebrities. So they waved their hand and the girl screamed. And I thought, okay, well, not for me then, I suppose.
Did you roll down your window and wave like
Hello,
the
the
queen?
queen.
Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah, right.
네, get a glimpse of가 이제 잠깐이라도 뭐 이렇게 힐끗이라도 보려고 했다라는 뜻이고요. 여기서는요.
Yeah, so very exciting. And it's the whole season, too. It's going to be on ESPN because there's playoff games as well. Major League Baseball, I don't think they have decided when Major League Baseball is going to start again. Also in Japan, they are not playing yet. Their league remains grounded. And remains grounded is, well, the first thing that came to mind is airplanes. If an airplane is grounded, it means it's not flying,
Right.
which means it's not active. So if a baseball league is grounded, it means that it's not active, they are not playing.
그렇죠. 우리가 이제 비행기 얘기를 하면서 grounded라고 하면은 이제 그 이륙을 하지 못하는 상태를 말합니다. 여러 가지 스포츠 경기가 grounded라고 하는 것은 본격적으로 시작이 되지 못했다라는 뜻이겠죠. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Journalists from nearly 20 international media outlets flocked to baseball stadiums across Korea on Tuesday, trying to get a glimpse of the Korea Baseball Organization launching its 2020 season. The U.S. sports cable giant ESPN has struck a deal to televise 6 KBO games per week this season and will also carry playoff games in the fall. Major League Baseball hasn't been able to start its season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The KBO also has a deal with a Japanese site, which will carry 2 Korean games per day and will then gradually increase that number. Japan's top league also remains grounded.
And it's time now to check Steve's expression of the day. What is it, Steve?
Well, I have some choices this morning.
Yep.
Let's do hit and miss. When I was talking about Airbnb, I think that people in general, sometimes they have a good experience with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't have a good experience with it. And that means that sometimes the apartment is really nice.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not as advertised. And we call that hit and miss, meaning when you use this service, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's terrible. That's what hit and miss means.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we use this when we talk about using the same thing over and over again, when sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. For example, a restaurant.
I see.
If you go to a restaurant and sometimes the meal is, wow, this is really good. And then the next time you go, not great today. But then you go again and wow, it's pretty good today. And then
Yeah.
you go again and now it's not very good today. So the restaurant is hit and miss.
Yeah, they need to get a more consistent chef in that restaurant.
Now, we can also, yes, they do. And we can also use this about movies from a particular director or from a particular actor.
Yeah.
Let's say that Bong Joon-ho, sometimes you love his movies and sometimes you think, not really. So you can say his movies for me are hit and miss. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I don't.
네, 그렇습니다. I think this comes from baseball, doesn't it? Or some sort of sporting event where you sometimes hit the ball, sometimes you miss the ball.
I don't know, but that makes
Yeah.
sense to me, yeah.
그래요. 복불복이라는 뜻입니다. That's a fun Korean expression too. 복불복.
복불복.
Yeah, that's hit and miss.
That is extremely difficult to say.
It's quite hard actually.
복불복.
네, 그렇습니다. 스티브 선생님이 에어비앤비에 대한 경험을 얘기하면서 어떤 때는 정말 너무나 좋은 데 가서 묵은 적도 있고 또 어떤 때는 약간 그런 별로네 하는 그런 느낌이 있었다.
So in Korean you would say 이 식당이 복불복이에요.
식당에서 맛있는 음식을 먹게 될지는 복불복이다.
Okay, well
That's too difficult.
that is a lot more difficult than simply 복불복.
Yes.
Where in English you can say that restaurant is hit and
But you
miss.
can just say 복불복이다 depending on the situation.
Same in English.
Yeah.
If you say how's that restaurant? You say hit and miss.
Exactly.
Yeah. How are Bong Joon-ho's movies? Good. Hit and miss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes. Well, coming up in the second hour of Morning Special, we have Say What and Movies with Cameron. We're also going to talk about Tom Cruise in the second hour as well. I forgot his last name there. Let's listen to a song. This is Halo by Beyonce. I'll be right back.
those walls I built, well, baby, they're tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray it won't fade away. See your halo. Hit me